In this video, we're going to take a look at evaluating piecewise functions. So when you're given a value like f of 3, what it's asking you is x equals 3. What is the y value at that x value? So if I go over to x equals 3 and I look for my function, I go down to where I've graphed it, and I just need to pick out this y value. So the point right there is 3. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's located at 3, -7. So x equals 3 where y equals -7. So all I really need is that value of my function where x was equal to 3. So the answer to f of 3 is -7. All right, so let's look at f of -4. Let me change colors. So f of -4, go to x equals -4, and pick out the value of y at that point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. At -4, looks like y is equal to 1, if I had graphed that a little bit cleaner. And the last one says f of -2. So let's go to x equals -2 and figure out the value of our function at x equals -2. So for x equals -2, I would go up to this point and it's equal to 3 because the point -2, 3 is on my function. So the value, I'm evaluating the value of my function at f of -2, so where x equals -2 is equal to 3, which is the y value. So it's like for that x, what would be the y? Let's look at this next example. So for f of -2, let's go on the graph where x equals -2. So here it is, and I go to my function. So that's this blue line right here. And it looks like -2 goes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Y is equal to 6 right there. So the point -2, 6 is where it's located. But I only want the y value because that's really what they're asking you for. And let's look at the next one. Where's x equal to 0? So you locate x equals 0, but on our function, we've got two options. We've got this blue dot that's filled in, and we've got this red dot that's open. So it's not equal to the red one, but it is equal to the blue one. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, because the point 0, 4 is included on that blue part of our piecewise function. So we'd say at x equals 0, y is equal to 4. And for that last one, it asks you for f of 5. So where is x equal to 5? So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over on the x-axis, and then go to your function, which is in this case the green part of our function. And that point would be 5, 2. So our value of our function at x equals 5, f of 5, is 2. So that is how we evaluate a piecewise function. The other way you can do it is by plugging in the value. So let's say you have a piecewise function that you did not graph and you don't feel like graphing it. Then let's look at this first part of our evaluating problem, f of 3. We looked at our graph and found -7. The other way to think about it is you think of where would x equals -3 belong in this function. All right, so x equals 3. Would that be where x is less than -2 or where x is greater than or equal to -2? So it definitely belongs in that second piece of our function because that's where x equals 3 is included in the interval. X equals 3 belongs where x is greater than or equal to -2. So then we could plug it in for x in that part of our function. So -2 times 3 minus 1, that gives us -6 minus 1, which is -7. So notice that is what we got when we looked at our graph. They should definitely come out with the same number. It just depends on which way you want to look at it. Let's do the next one. So I'm just going to erase that, but hopefully you wrote that down. Let's look at the next part. F of -4. So where x equals -4, where would that belong? Is that in the interval x is less than -2 or x is greater than or equal to -2? So x equals -4 belongs in the first interval where x is less than -2. So we're going to plug it into this part of our function for the x. So we would say -4 plus 5 is equal to 1. And notice that is what we got when we looked at our graph. So you can either look at your graph and pick them out, or you can look at your function and plug in the x value into the part of the function where it's appropriate, where it belongs in the interval. So either way, that is how we evaluate piecewise functions.